Hello, I'm Joseph Billingsley with Pelican Publishing. We're joined today by Dave Dixon, the man who created the New Orleans Saints and brought the Superdome to reality. Dave provides an insider's perspective on these and other events in his book, The Saints, the Superdome, and the Scandal.
I think most people agree that the Saints are a very powerful franchise, and in large part because of the existence of the Louisiana Superdome.
Right.
The Superdome is a great building, designed by a New Orleanian, a man named Nathaniel C. Curtis Jr., better known as Buster Curtis. And Buster Curtis was a guy like when I was, say, 11 or 12 years old, and he was 15 or 16. I knew, as did every other kid in town my age that I knew that Buster Curtis was the smartest guy we knew and the best guy we knew. Everybody looked up to Buster. And I knew that he was enormously talented, and his architectural, you could drive around the city in those days, and even to my untrained eye, I would spot maybe half a dozen outstanding buildings of recent architecture, and every single one of them was a Buster Curtis building. And I told this to Governor McKithen, and he said, well, Dave, why don't we create a special committee of deans of engineering and architecture from Tulane and LSU, which to me was very noteworthy because that meant that John McKithen was not going to appoint a political architect, as would most governors, as would most mayors everywhere in America. He was going to get the best. And he left it up to these deans of architecture and engineering from Tulane and LSU, and they were unanimous. And we had every top architectural firm in America came here to bid on it. And the deans were unanimous in Buster Curtis. And so we got a great building.
Wow, fantastic. When you think about the Superdome, especially now that we've just had our first ever NFC Championship game there with the celebration that followed, when you envisioned the Superdome, did you think it would not be just a sports stadium, but play such a vital role in the city's psyche that we've seen?
Absolutely. And that was my instruction to Mr. Curtis, was to do the best that you can toward creating a great football stadium first, but also a facility that would be adaptable to such events. And, there are a lot of things that go on in the Superdome. And because it does have the artificial turf and this good turf today, it's just excellent. They have, the state high school football championships are there every year. Very, very successful, and Tulane plays there.
We're getting near the end of our time, but before you go, Dave, maybe tell us something about the Saints or the Superdome that you think most people just don't know.
Well, I don't think they fully appreciate how versatile the building is and how much usage it gets. I think the Saints, the Superdome is pretty close to a 365-day-a-year facility, certainly 300 days a year, and it's brought billions of dollars to the economy. There was a study done, 15 years ago that my wife unearthed recently by the chief economist at University of New Orleans, and it was well into the billions. Well, it was well into the billions in it. It might be, maybe circling the trillions or something. Anyway, it certainly has been enormous for the city. I'm so proud of my wonderful friend Buster Curtis, who did such a great job with the building. Just a great guy with a great family, and he left us too soon, but he was a great, great architect. And everything that we did turned out to be just perfect because now we have a great Saints organization and we have a great Superdome. So the combination is so wonderful for the city, which deserves it in every inch of our fiber. We deserve it because this is really a marvelous city, unique in America. What city could you possibly have felt had this great emotion come over you? It would make you weep on September 25, 2006 or whatever it was, that we came back from the terrible hurricane, and there they were blocking the first punt by the Atlanta Falcons and scoring a touchdown. And that whole electricity in that building was just a perfect tribute to the superiority and the humanity of mankind. It's a triumph of mankind, of the human spirit. That's what I was thinking of. It was a triumph of the human spirit, not just for New Orleans, nationally. And everybody in America watching that game had the same surge, I'm told, that we experienced in that stadium that night. Wasn't that wonderful?
Yeah, it was. I was in New York at the time. I can vouch for that. It was electric.
Yes, it was electric. Yeah. Only in New Orleans.